Hey everyone, it is a market day! Oh, featuring special guest COO.
Hi guys. Hello.
Okay, it's about a week after the market, so now I'm gonna get into the chisme. I want to share my experience and what I learned so that hopefully it can help someone out there and you can apply it to yourself if you want to attend markets. I'm gonna go over some strategies that I did, how I would improve my booth, what I learned, how much I made, and my final thoughts / would I do it again. So if you're new here, my name is Julia, and after I graduated college this year, I started making handmade polymer clay keychains that I sell online and now in person. The market I attended was called the Handmade Market in Jersey City, New Jersey, and it was just a market in the street that featured vendors that sold food, jewelry, handmade things, and there was even a flower shop. The event ran from 12 to 6 p.m. and there was times where it was slow, but because it was located on a busy street in Jersey City, there was constantly people walking through. But I will say the traffic might have been an illusion because I noticed that a lot of the people walking through were just locals trying to get to where they wanted to go, and a lot of the people that came there did not come for the market. It was more of like a spontaneous thing for them. Nonetheless, I still had a lot of people that stopped at my booth and made sales throughout the day. So I'm gonna be honest, I did not have a lot of strategy going into this, and the only strategy that I did have, which I've seen other people do online, is to have a picture with a QR code that leads to your Instagram, and then there's text above it that says follow my Instagram and you get a free sticker. That was actually very helpful. It was good because it kind of guaranteed followers on the spot, rather than if you just gave them a card and then it was kind of a chance if they would follow you, and it was a win-win because they got a sticker, I got a follower. So I definitely recommend that for your booth. But for my next event, I definitely want to try implementing a lot more strategies and improving my booth setup, which, don't get me wrong, for my first booth setup, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was adorable and a lot of people loved my displays too. But there's always room for improvement. For example, remembering to bring chairs. So me and my COO had to stand the entire time. Very hard to do when it was slow. Anyways, the biggest thing I want to improve is to have a branded sign somewhere on my booth, because I didn't have a sign saying what my small business was at all anywhere. There was a little frame on my booth that had like my brand name on it, but it wasn't like huge so that you could see it from afar. I was planning on doing this, but I got sick before the event, so unfortunately I did not have time to do it. The next thing I want to do to improve my booth is to include something that's eye-catching but from afar. All of my charms are really small, so you can only see them if you're walking right in front of my table. So next time I'm either gonna bring a big sign, or like I kind of want to make a mini panda sculpture to sit on my table, or maybe one of those big colorful spinning wheels where I could possibly do like a live blind box, spin the wheel, see what you get, or spin the wheel to get a discount, or spin the wheel to get a free thing. I definitely want to have a fun roulette game for my booth to make it more engaging. And then lastly, I definitely want to decorate my booth a lot more so it looks less like a random booth on the street and more like a mini little shop storefront type of thing. It would be cool to figure out some way to put like a striped awning. I'll put a picture so you can understand what the heck I'm trying to say, and definitely add my brand colors more throughout because my booth was mostly stark white. Something I noticed was that everyone who visited my booth gravitated heavily towards the $15 items and not the $40 items. This is probably because $15 next to $40 makes the little guys look like a good deal and the $40 guys look like a bad deal. Bars. And although this price gap definitely helped to sell my little guys a lot, for my next market I'm definitely gonna try to have some products that sit in between that price range and have more variety. With that being said, I think another big reason my $40 items didn't sell as much is because most of the people, like I said before, were just passing through and they weren't mentally prepared to spend that much. Whereas if I went to a market that was made so that you could support artists and people go there to spend money, then my expensive products might have done better. So a lot of factors went into it for sure. And the last thing that I still need to figure out is my jet reader. It would not connect. It would connect, but then while I was doing a transaction, sometimes it would disconnect, and it was just such a gamble on whether it would work or not. Luckily, my iPhone has tap to pay on it, so if someone wanted to tap, they could just tap it right on my phone and I could take the money that way. And that's literally like how 90% of people pay. So I kind of got lucky there, but I would definitely recommend having a backup plan because you never know when technology is going to fail you. Okay, and now for the juicy part. How much did I make and how much did I spend? So I sold 1 Daisy keychain, 0 Darla keychains, 1 Devious Darrow, 9 blind boxes, 3 Wilson the Wacky Watermelons, 3 Straubs, 3 Tommy the Timid Tomatoes, 2 Po the Potatoes, 2 Belle the Beautiful Bok Choys, 1 Tilly the Tipsy Turnip, and 5 B grades. So the total items sold was 30, and the total that I made was $445. But I think that was a really successful day, especially for my first time and considering how slow it got sometimes. Plus, I learned so much just by being there, so that in itself was extremely valuable. But let's see how that looks after expenses. To start, the booth fee was $113.30. The chip reader was $52.25. Supplies for the booth, such as freebie stickers, displays, sign clips, etc., was $132.70. The 10x10 tent was $127.94, and the table was $59.18. So my total expenses were $485.37, which means I ended up with a net loss at $40.37. However, all the things I had to buy for the market were more like startup costs and are not costs that I'm gonna have to pay towards every event. So honestly, I don't really count them towards my profits. So if we were to exclude my startup cost, which was $372.07, then my expenses would look more like $113.30, which was literally just the booth fee, making my net profit $331.70. So the market itself went really smoothly, like surprisingly, like amazingly smoothly. Editor Julia interrupting here. I was so stuck on the positive things of this event in this next clip that I forgot to talk about the negative parts, which in theory is a good thing, but I didn't want to make it seem like it was all sunshine and rainbows, so let's talk about the thunderstorms. Besides forgetting to bring chairs, which you've already heard me yap about, at the beginning of the market, I was getting major imposter syndrome. I felt like I showed up to a pink themed party wearing purple, if you catch my drift. That's the best way I could explain it. Also, I was just getting over a sickness and probably needed at least one more day to get better, so I was surviving off of Dayquil and kind of going through it. And then it led me to losing my voice at the end. What's up, God? So
What's
the
up,
market
guys?
just ended. My voice is gone. It's so gone. I was literally yapping so much, which is a good thing. It was so bad. And because of that whole market day, I relapsed in my sickness and could not talk or physically move for the next 4 days. But those are the negatives, so now let's get to the positives. The weather was perfect, the parking was free and easy, my COO and I were able to set up easily with time to spare, and I wasn't even stressed during the whole morning because of how smoothly everything was going, which is such a plus. And there were super wholesome interactions with a lot of positive feedback, and I even got to meet some other really cool small business owners while I was there, like Ostiche, which I hope I'm pronouncing that right, who makes these super pretty handmade metal goods, which this one that I got specifically is a candle holder. Like, look at how pretty that is. And I also met this vendor called Eclectic Jewelry who sells a lot of really funky earrings, and I got these little bandit earrings that I'm literally going to wear to every market now. Needless to say, I feel very lucky with how everything turned out. Overall, I had so much fun, and I will definitely be attending more markets in the future, so keep your eye out for updates. And I will definitely be attending this specific one again, maybe next year, so I can try out my new strategies and apply my new gained knowledge. I hope my experience was able to help you in one way or another if you want to attend your first market as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and comment market tea so I know that you watched till the end. Don't forget to leave a like to support my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!